2010 general election was a turning point for the fire service. We've seen unprecedented cuts, 12,000 firefighter jobs have gone. We've seen attacks on our pensions that we've never seen before, and we've seen attacks on wages. As we came out of COVID, we faced this new cost of living crisis, so inflation began to rise to levels that we hadn't seen for 40 years. We began to see groups of workers begin to resist that, and those were the debates that were taking place in the FBU as well.
The pay wasn't reflective of inflation and the way we are living at the moment. I've not seen any pay rises since joining the service 6 years ago. Yeah, it was really important.
This was bigger than me or the fire service. This was about working class saying that they'd had enough and trying to stand up to fight against that.
Our pay settlement date is the 1st of July. We wrote quite a detailed letter setting out our concerns about pay to the employers, and they responded in June of last year with an offer of 2%. We thought it was so low and frankly insulting, so that set the tone for the subsequent months towards the idea of possible industrial action.
The membership, a couple of people, when the 2% came out, they were saying to me that we should accept the 2% and we shouldn't fight. And I was like, no way. It's time to make a stand.
We began a campaign. We were going out onto fire stations, emergency fire controls, talking to FBU members about the need for decent pay to stop real wages falling even further. Eventually there would be a discussion about industrial action, strike action. By October, we got a revised offer of 5%. By then, inflation had developed further, and we recommended that members should vote to reject the employer's 5% offer. The significance of rejecting the 5% offer meant that we had to do something about it. The next step would be a ballot for strike action, so we had to put in place the campaign for a strike ballot. We were very clear with members that if we vote for a strike, we have to be prepared to take that strike action.
One of the first big rallies was down in London in December. It was the first big rally that I've been to.
They knew that they couldn't win. They knew that they couldn't take us on. We were so strong together that there was only going to be one outcome, and it was us winning.
That feeling when you get to those rallies and those people have all come together for that common cause, brotherhood and sisterhood all together, that's something else. That's something I'll really take away from this.
We have to meet certain turnout thresholds. We beat all those thresholds in the strike ballot. We decided to allow a 10-day opportunity for the employers to make a different pay offer. The day of the NJC meeting was a very tense day. The meeting went on all day. They needed to make an improved offer, and we were very firm on that in our discussions with them. Very late in the evening, the employers changed their position and came up with a new offer of the 7% and the 5% for 2023. It was a significant change to the employer's previous position, and therefore we should consult our members. The Executive Council agreed a statement which recommended that members should vote to accept the offer. 84% of members voting and 96% of members who voting to accept the pay deal. If you look at all of those ballots all the way through, there was a remarkable show of unity and determination.
Being shoulder to shoulder with other firefighters from different brigades and showing how much people really feel strongly about the pay campaign convinced me that we were doing the right thing.
We need to defend our fire service for the next generation.
It just kind of shows when people come together how powerful that can be.
We did manage to move the employers, and I think two things were vital to shifting them. First of all, we've got what's called collective bargaining, and that means that we sit across the table with our employers and we negotiate. The other one is the right to strike, and without that, I'm absolutely clear that we would not have moved our employers and then that overwhelming vote for strike action. The government here at Westminster has criticised the National Joint Council, the FBU, and they've said that they need to be changed in a white paper, including the possibility of replacing collective bargaining with a pay review body. That's being done to help employers and government force through further attacks on our wages. The Westminster government has introduced what's called the Strikes Minimum Service Level Bill, and that means that a union that votes for strike action may still have to agree that groups of members go into work. So our right to strike is under threat from that legislation.
We're still so far behind where we should be. There's so much still to do. We have to be ready for that fight.
The biggest thing that I've learned is every single person makes a difference.
It feels like people are more joined up. I think we've still got things we need to address, and making sure that we use where we are now and the unity to continue to fight for the right things.
There's a lack of political representation for the working class, so it's down to trade unions to do that from grassroots themselves, because nobody's going to do it for us.
We're a long way from finished. This is only the start. We need to keep pushing back. If you don't turn out as a strong unit, then you can't put your case forward.
We've got to prepare for next year's pay round, and we've got to put the work in to make sure we build on the success of the past year to make sure the investment is made for the future.